Now, owing to the event that just held this morning, what has been the outcome? What has been the things that's mainly transpired in the meetings?
Okay, this particular meeting was special in the sense that, following the yellow fever deportation issue between Nigeria and South Africa, we felt that we owed it to our members to inform them on how that incident itself shouldn't so much stop or disturb the kind of business relationship we have with South Africa. It should be one that matters would sort of be resolved. And you will see from what happened today that we have the Consul General of South Africa, he was here, we had the head of immigration, we had the head of business for South Africa. They were all here to try and explain and talk us through the reasoning and the rationale behind what happened. And they also informed us of the future events. We're having a binational commission in about a month or so, and after that commission, it's most likely that the president will be visiting South Africa officially, and for such a thing, it's gatherings like this that help to explain it. But this one was different. Normally our breakfast sessions, we usually have a speaker to talk on an interesting topic. Today we had a discussion, we had a conversation on issues about Nigeria, South Africa, what's been disturbing business, what's been standing in the way. And basically what's come out of it is that, look, generally things are working well. Generally you have some bad situations, some good, some very, very good ones. And like any other relationship, we have ups and downs. But generally, things are working well. The only other observation that we made is that whilst Nigeria has a positive balance of trade with South Africa, it's principally from oil. South Africa has a positive, what I like to call industrial balance of trade with Nigeria, which means for me, for every product that is sold, you have a manufacturing outfit in South Africa that employs people, that has a distribution chain, that deals with logistics and so on and so forth. For every dollar of oil that we sell, there's just an oil company selling to South Africa. So there's greater value for them, for everything they ship out here. So we too need to try and see the kind of things that we can be shipping out to South Africa that will engage our people, get our entrepreneurs to get up and go. And it's not just manufacturing, export our culture, export our fashion, export our industry, our film industry. There's so many things that we think that we should look to export to South Africa and indeed the rest of the world.
All right, so finally, sir, besides exportation that we need to leverage on, we're looking at quite a number of South African companies based in Nigeria that the capital market now needs to be listed. Now, the capital market has proffered the elements of incentives being offered through taxation to some of these companies. How would you address, or what will be your assessment of this matter on ground? So do you think the South African companies, talking about MTN, talking about ShopRite and some of the other firms based in Nigeria, do you think they will be willing to list when offered these incentives?
Well, don't forget that, first of all, most companies have total freedom to do what it is they want to do, as long as they do not hurt the economy, and as long as they're being fair, as long as the products they sell deliver the service that they're supposed to. And bear in mind that somebody somewhere made the investment and took the risk to come into this country. It's grown in several examples to be these have grown to be big organizations. Now, the issue about listing, I think it is always desirable, okay, for a company that operates in a particular country to increase the level of participation in that country through the means of the stock exchange, through share participation, share acquisition, and a higher level of involvement of the general public, okay, in the business of that company. And that is why it makes sense for them to list. But don't forget that other people list in order to ensure that they can get good returns on their investments, in order to make sure that their shares can be traded and it can generate the kind of revenue and spread the goodwill, okay, so to speak. It is really left to the organization to decide what strategy they want to adopt. I believe that MTN might eventually go that route because from an operational point of view, it is a Nigerian company, just 15 expatriates working in MTN, the rest are all Nigerians. So it is truly Nigerian. And you do have Nigerian shareholders, okay, but the Nigerian shareholders are holding shares as private holders, just like you have many companies in this country that have not decided to list, but have just decided to hold on to their shares. It just so happens that MTN has got a higher level of visibility Okay, so it's not everybody that decides to list. It's got to be a strategic decision on their part. They need to be encouraged to do so in order to be even more Nigerian, especially because they have such a huge impact on Nigeria's economy, Nigeria's social life, and so on, by virtue of the fact that they're a leading telecommunications company. So it's by a bit of moral suasion, maybe a bit of also financial suasion, persuasion needs to be done to encourage them to do this. But I don't think we can force them.
So you don't think legislation balancing with incentives will work?
If you begin to legislate that, then the idea is that why would you force me? You're going to chase away investments. People are going to panic and say, why would I go and invest there if what happens is that legislation is going to force me to have to go and list and force me to do various things. I think one needs to discuss these things and persuade people on the benefits. Always bear in mind that somebody at the beginning took a risk and took a position and said, okay, here's my $150 million to take a risk on something that's going to happen. The risk worked out well. Then you say, hey, I'm going to force you to go and sell out. I don't have to. Dangote decided to sell because he wanted to sell. And even what he decided to sell was just a small portion. You know, you can't go and legislate and say, hey, Dangote, you must sell. Okay, don't forget, MTN is a Nigerian company, not listed, but it is a Nigerian company.
All right, so just one more thing. The stakeholders in the Nigerian capital market says some of these companies found in other nations have actually listed based on not compulsion as a word literally now, but by legislation alongside incentives. They just want that to be replicated in Nigeria. Yeah. Do you think it is possible with the whole situation on ground, sir?
Well, fine. You see, the issue about legislation is always fair, but if you're going to legislate before I came in. You know, legislate before I came into the country, okay? Rather than do it after I'm already in. So don't change the rules halfway through the game, okay? If the legislation is that, look, if you're coming to Nigeria, by 5 years you must go and list on the stock exchange. 10 years maximum you must list, okay? And other various conditions. I think it's important to do that. You know, my own personal point of view is that I believe in free market economy. I don't believe that I need to arm twist anybody to do something in a particular way. But the company itself, the organization itself, you must be fair to me in the sense that you should have told me what the rules of the game are before I sort of came into the country. That's just my position on that. I'm sorry, I can't say more.
Thank you very much.